That motherfucker hit me. Burn live, y'all. Marijuana be keeping y'all connected. Hashtagging these red eyes, changing the viewers eye red, keeping underage, smoking off social media. Definitely killing myself for your entertainment. Sitting here with friends and family. Shoot, y'all know how we do it already. I say I'm gonna have mic problems. I'm gonna have mic problems today. Man, look. Welcome to the Another Burn Live show, y'all. I appreciate everybody coming up in here. Got the wonderful panel up here. My boys are in the house. James Longstar Madden, Money Dream. How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Chilling, chilling.
We doing good.
Yeah, buddy. See, y'all, we on X now. And if y'all can see up in y'all corner that we do have actually people up in here. I've been waiting so long to go back on X because I was like, most of my viewers on YouTube and Facebook comes after the show. And it seemed like something with X or Twitter for people know. It's like they come up here during the show. And I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody getting into it, loving, caring, all that stuff. But this the Burn Live show. So I know we've been talking about the P. Diddy case for 3 days. So we're gonna talk about the P. Diddy case. We're gonna talk about a couple of other small stories that go somewhat under the radar. And like I said, good talks, and then we're gonna do a breakdown. We're probably gonna do a breakdown of the P. Diddy case because I did drop um well, a lawyer dropped a video. Let me put it like that. A lawyer dropped a video and it really explains exactly what was going down in the case, and it made so much sense. It made it easier to understand what is the prosecutors looking for and what the defenders are trying to defend against the P. Diddy case. So we'll be going through that. First things first, guys, let the people know who you are and where they can find you.
Money Demon on YouTube.
Uh, James the Lone Star Madden, the Pellerin Factors, YouTube, TikTok, yada yada yada. Pants on fire.
Okay, you can catch me on Facebook, YouTube. Y'all know where to catch me. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the love. All right, guys. So what y'all been up to? What y'all been hearing out in these streets before we get deep into something?
Shit,
Streets
for
been,
me.
yeah. What's been going on in y'all streets? I know y'all can't hear the same thing I always hear.
Well, shit. Do you guys know the streamer Hassan Piker?
No, I don't.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's a live streamer, but
Never heard
he
of
this guy, he's a political like far leftist guy, right?
Okay.
And right now he's talking about how he got pulled aside at the airport coming back into the United States, and what he's trying to say is that because he does a lot of speaking out against Israel and he's very pro-Palestinian, he's trying to say that Donald Trump is ordering people to interrogate pro-Palestine people. So he's making a big deal out of it, but it's it's a huge exaggeration of the actual truth. And me personally, I don't like the Hassan Piker. He's really embarrassing for left-leaning people, you know. He's like the far left that a lot of left-leaning people are trying to distance themselves from, you know.
Like
But
the far right leaning people that, you know what I'm saying, that is out there.
yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody ever asked me that, you know what I'm saying, what about those super extreme Trumpists? I was like, they're out there, but they're not
yeah,
like they're not really into nothing like that. For one, most of the people that are Trump extremists are really scaredy cats. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? You hit the blue and yellow, you hit the blue and red lights, they gonna like, oh, I voted for Trump. You know, first thing we gonna holler, we voted for Trump. You know what I'm saying? We think that's our get out of jail free card. And I will admit, a lot of people that are Trump supporters think that they can say that and get out of jail free card. I will admit that. See, a lot of people won't think that I admit that. Like what happened to me last night on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I got ambushed by a lot of people that hate Trump for their various reasons. And what I believe that happened last night to me is that I think they thought I was gonna run away from them. Oh, let's get on his case. Okay, get on my top. You know what I'm saying? Say what y'all gotta say. You know, I want to hear it. I want a mouthful because they really didn't understand that I got a podcast, that I was gonna take what they said and come on here and let people know, like, okay, so I understand how y'all feel. I see where y'all coming from. But let me say my piece. But did they let me say my piece like it's not? Nah, boy. They yelled at me so good and blocked me. I said, dang, I thought y'all gonna kick me out, not the block.
That should be the word. Hey, I deal with the same shit. I like to argue and whatever, but
Yeah,
I've gotten blocked so many times. And usually it's people coming on my page and then they end up blocking me. I don't really comment on anyone else's shit, you know. But people be real sensitive, you know.
bro. Uh-oh.
It was a tornado in Chicago, global warming.
Would you really blame that on global warming?
I
I
don't
will go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't really
That's
understand
crazy.
how global warming works.
Well,
Hey,
I guess. Well, I guess that kills your theory, Capiche, about skyscrapers blocking the wind tunnels, so you can't be no tornadoes. I guess that kills that theory.
no, because we don't know if it was the outskirts of Chicago or in the inner city of Chicago. But you are correct. Hold on, because only reason I say that because when I looked at the pattern from St. Louis and it was heading downtown towards the skyscraper buildings, and then it veered a little bit north, just a little bit above the downtown area, and then went over to Illinois. So yeah, when she said Chicago, it did hit over there because it hit Illinois. But yet again, no, the north side. So like the inner cities, did it hit any skyscrapers? Did it hit your downtown area? Hold on, y'all. She putting up more comments. Yes. Okay. So, James, you are correct. It does knock out my theory. Interesting. I'm sorry to hear that my hometown got hit tragically. St. Louis. That's where I'm from. Neighborhoods.
I got a friend from Chicago. I gotta check up on him. I didn't know that happened.
Man, I didn't either. I like I said, I know it hit my town. I know it went into Illinois. Like I did know that, but I did not know it went up to actually Chicago. That's a big difference.
Wasn't there something else that happened? Like when we were on the stream, someone else was commenting about some other natural disaster that hit his hometown, right?
Um, there have been earthquakes. There's been what was that? A hurricane earlier this year, I do
Yeah, it
believe.
hit Florida.
So, Simmery, speed you up.
Hello.
We were just really just rumbling in circles before we actually start the main topics and subject. And then we had a comment because y'all like TikTok, we got engaged. We got engaged. So this lady came on her and blessed us with letting us know that a tornado hit Chicago. And James was like, well, that knocks my theory because I was like, man, I don't believe that tornadoes really hitting the inner city. Y'all remember the movie Twister?
Hmm.
That's a common movie, and they even got a newer version where it's Twisters with an S because it's like multiple Twisters and stuff like that. But yeah, it hitting a city is rare. But shouts and prayers go out to Chicago. Make sure that everybody's safe. Um, we will be. I wish there's something we can do. You see, I appreciate that. See, we need to grow because, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, we can start raising money for Chicago right now, but then St. Louis would be looking at me like, man, you need to raise some money for your hometown. Yeah, they try to treat me like Nelly. You see
Oh,
what they do when they get big and famous.
like Nelly.
Hey, but man, I appreciate that, man. She helped started off the show. I also before, like I said, we're gonna talk about the P Diddy. We also gonna go into the breakdown, but I wanted to go over some of these small stories that we was discussing. Where that we throwing out a little small chat group that I just started. I do want to go over some of them stories because
Hmm.
some of them stories is crazy, and I'm gonna have to
Seen
drop
that about the
myself
guys that
down
escaped.
for. Uh, yeah, I was gonna go into that. Go ahead.
How do 10 people just break free? How does that happen?
I have no idea. I saw a little bit of that. They were saying something about leaving the water running. I don't understand what the water had to do with escaping them, but
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. That
ha
definitely had to be some inside something going on.
yeah, how many people was it? All I saw
10.
was the
It was 10 of
10.
them.
It was just 10 of these motherfuckers running out the front door.
Like how?
Yeah, I don't know how that happens.
If I'm not mistaken, the report says something about a sewer leak.
A sewer leak. So like they were going through a sewer.
No, like they plunged up the toilet until it overflowed, and then they put some in the middle of the water in the cell to where it bent. I'm not
Mm.
don't quote me on that, but that is like more realistically of what I would do, or in the sense of the fact that I would flood into the police come, the CEO come, and then yeah, I'm finna bum rush 'em.
So like
I
the pressure of the water broke something to where they could get through it.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Shit, people people in prison be smart. How do they be coming up with all types of shit?
Look, they got time on their hand.
Yeah,
Man,
They
hey,
sitting there thinking
they
of ways to break up out of there.
they be coming up with shit like Glock dookies or whatever that shit's called.
all right, y'all. So I got the story. I'm from St. Louis. We got St. Louis, we got Atlanta, and we got Iowa in the building. So let's get
So
into
let's
this
get into
story.
this story.
following the Attorney General urging maintenance worker malfeasance of office and 10 counts of simple escape. That's one count for each of the inmates who got away last week. 6 escapees are still on the run. The AG saying that Williams turned off the water in the cell where the inmates opened a hole, which allowed them to reach a loading dock door. Video.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
See how I was saying with the sewer, they did something with the sewer.
Mm-hmm.
Where was this at? We don't know yet. We're gonna break it down. Hang out with us. Hang out with us. Hey, y'all, we got a real one in the comments today. I'm gonna have to keep her up here. We got a real one in the comment. Let me get back to New Orleans. Says it in up there, I'm assuming.
Shows them running out of that door and then getting away. The Attorney General also alleges that Williams failed to immediately alert officials after an inmate allegedly ordered him to shut the water off. CNN's Rafael Romo joins us now with the latest. And Rafael, according to court documents,
that almost sounds like they paid somebody. That last quote, if y'all want me to rewind, sorry, I can show y'all what I'm talking about. Sound like somebody on the inside paid the CEO.
Mm.
Let's listen to that again. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I heard it wrong.
Failed to immediately alert officials after an inmate allegedly ordered him to shut the water off.
An inmate ordered somebody to shut the water off. When have you ever heard an inmate ordering anybody to do anything?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm getting like, okay, for that sentence, that quote, yeah, that sounds like a, hey man, hard times, you can't pay them bills. Here you $200-$300, man, cut that water off.
CNN's Rafael Romo joins us now with the latest. And Rafael, according to court documents, Williams says that he was threatened. They said that they would stab him if he didn't shut the water off.
Yeah, that's right. That appears to be the case based on a legal document we have reviewed in the last hour, Boris, a document that may spell out the reason why the men accused of helping the inmates escape might have done so. CNN has obtained a copy of Sterling Williams' affidavit for arrest warrant, where investigators say that the 33-year-old willfully and maliciously assisted with the escape of the 10 inmates. But there's another important detail that might explain his motive. The affidavit says in part that during a Mirandized interview with Williams, he explained to agents that he turned the water off from the outside pipe walk area under direction of an inmate who threatened to, quote, shank him if he did not turn the water off. That inmate was one of the inmates who escaped the OPSO Correctional Center. According to Louisiana Attorney General Liz Muriel, Williams was employed as a maintenance worker at the sheriff's office. Attorney General Muriel also said in a statement that Williams admitted to agents that one of the escapees advised them to turn the water off in the cell where the inmates escaped from. Instead of reporting the inmate, this statement says, Williams turned the water off as directed, allowing the inmates to carry out their scheme to successfully escape. Earlier today, Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson said the investigation into the jailbreak is active and ongoing, adding that she takes full accountability for this failure.
Here, pause it.
There were procedural failures and missed notifications. But there were also intentional wrongdoing.
What'd you say?
I was gonna say it sounds like they were ordering them to turn the water off, and they probably needed the water off to go through the pipes or whatever.
That sounds good. Boy, where's James at? That's what I'm looking for. I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. Is he up here?
He right here.
You see him? Okay. All right, look. I gotta get this in order. There we go. Now I can see.
This was a coordinated effort aided by individuals inside our own agency who made the choice to break the law. One arrest has been made, and we are continuing to pursue everyone involved, and that investigation is active and ongoing.
And Boris, the arrest of the Paris Sheriff's Office employee comes after a fourth inmate who escaped from the jail Friday was captured on Monday in the New Orleans East neighborhood. Now back to you.
So what's your reaction to this employee shutting off the water?
Boy, they finna give him life. That should be the reaction. What's the reaction? Life. No, I'll just play. Y'all probably think people probably think I'm mean like life, but he just, boy, y'all know who got to pay for that? You know who taxpayer money coming out of that? Cleaning up that sewer? Go ahead, James. Cause y'all know we paying for that, right? Well, people of New Orleans, they got to pay for that, boy. And see, that's now if stuff like that happens, and they went to the people of the city like, "Hey, this happens. You know, this coming out of your taxpayer money. What do y'all think should happen, boy? That boy would be sitting down."
Well, he
When
was
people,
threatening, wasn't he? He was threatening to do that shit.
yeah, he threatened the CEO like, "Hey, you better cut on that water. I'ma gut you." But yet again, all that
Yeah.
water and flooding that's coming out of taxpayers' money to clean that up. You think they're gonna clean it up for real, freely? Bro, they're gonna send a bill out. Cause them cleaning supplies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even it, and I ain't gonna lie to nobody. The more I talk about it, the more petty it sounds to me. But I'm like, dang, that's exactly what's gonna happen though.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's gonna happen. All right. What else? What other story y'all want to cover that happened over that we put in that little chat?
What is up with that the dude that blew up the fertility clinic?
Okay, is that in the group chat or that's something that?
Was it in the group chat?
Oh, yeah. No, that ain't it.
That ain't it.
I'm looking. I'm just in the group chat looking. I don't think I sent that in the group chat, did I?
Oh, okay.
Or did I send it to you personally?
Yeah, you sent it personally.
Okay. All right. Was it the last video?
Okay, we could do whatever one in the group
9
chat.
man at large? Nope. That's what we just did. Trump tariffs. Oh, yeah, you want to do the tariffs too. It must be this one. Was it a short? Nope, that ain't
No.
it. I should have just left that up. Nah. Okay. Since I can't find that one, you remember how I was explaining to y'all last time we was on her about Piers Morgan show. And I said Piers Morgan is gonna have a debate about the P-Diddy. And I sent it to you, Marie. And I'm finna pull it up for the simple fact that they be killing. These are type of did, did you just resend it to me?
No, I just thumbs up it so you could know which one it was.
Okay. So
stereotype of this crazed black man who's being prosecuted by 5 white women who are saying this man's sexual needs are insatiable.
The sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs is back underway in Manhattan today, with pop star Dawn Richard returning to the stand. The Danity Kane singer testified that when Diddy did not get his way, quotes, people could go missing, close quotes. She also told the court that she personally saw Diddy drag, kick, and punch his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Well, much of the evidence so far has been damning, as prosecutors build their case that he was the kingpin in a criminal enterprise responsible for sex trafficking and racketeering. But despite that, some people believe the drastic nature of the charges could mean that Diddy will sensationally walk free. In a moment, I'll talk to Matthew Fletcher, the former lawyer of Suge Knight, and Ben Chu, who successfully represented Johnny Depp. But we begin with a man who finds himself at the center of a Diddy scandal, lawyer Tony Busby, filed multiple lawsuits on behalf of alleged Diddy victims. There's recently been hit with an extortion suit by Jay-Z and accused of, quotes, targeting black men, close quotes. Well, he joins me now. Tony, you must be...
Now y'all see why I be watching this show? If that breakdown right there didn't show y'all why I watch this show, because he go get the most exclusive people to go having a debate with. I love it. Sure. What blackmail is real? Shaking my head. I'm not gonna disagree with what she said. Blackmail is real. But in this case of racketeering, that you are a leader, and your leadership is in a sexual act of people going across the border, across state lines, doing stuff that they technically by law is not supposed to be doing. You should be finding somebody in your own state to have fun and have pleasure with, not getting this guy that's in New Orleans or Texas or California or Miami because you in New York. I don't see the blackmail. I think you are black and you mailed your ass these charges. I think that's what you should rephrase a blackmail as, in blackmailing. I'm assuming allegedly.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there two different definitions of like blackmailing and extortion?
Same thing.
It's the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well then, man, I don't know, but like fucking he was doing all the crimes, you know.
I
I
mean,
don't
he
know.
was doing he controlled everybody from testimony. Testimony about, and see, this is where I wish I can really bring up both this video and then Nate the lawyer video too, which I'm gonna have to actually go back to it. Where what we're specifically looking for as charges by P. Diddy and what they're trying to do is very easy to show and see. We see that he controlled people sexually. And by how did he pay them? He paid them by threatening them for their jobs and careers. I
So,
mean,
okay.
go
She
ahead.
she had she had commented, I say blackmail, she had to do things to keep a record deal she was hoping for.
Okay, so what part of that do we think is blackmail? Because that's not blackmail.
Holding something over somebody's head, that's blackmail, right?
Yeah, that's yeah.
He kept telling her he gonna show the tapes. He gonna show the tapes.
I'd be like, show the mother. I'm pregnant
Show
anyway. He already spent and bent me.
they gonna come out one day because they out now.
I was
Yeah.
misunderstanding what we were calling blackmail. I thought we was saying that she was blackmailing him or something.
Oh no.
I was
Well,
misunderstanding. My bad.
That's okay. If she would have blackmailed him,
she would have had his tape,
I
hold his
I
tapes
don't
over his head.
I don't
No,
think that we would be in court necessarily. Because everything would have got settled out of court.
And really, that's why he paid her that money so quick. The next day after she felt it, he gave her that money.
And I told that somebody's in here like, no, she didn't get paid. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
well,
She
everybody
got paid
said she
20
did get
something
paid.
mil. She got 22 mil, right?
Something like that, yeah.
The next day, she went and filed her suit. The next day, he settled. Boom, 22 mil. Just shut up and go ahead now. And look, because he knew he ain't want all of this to come back.
He didn't want this smoke. There's too much smoke.
Too much smoke for him. Too much.
Thank you very much for coming back to Uncensored. A lot has happened since you last appeared on this show. Let's start first of all with the fact that when we last spoke, you said you were representing 120 further alleged victims of Sean Diddy Combs in civil suits spanning 20 years with victims as young as 9, 14, and 15. Now, in March, you announced you were dropping 15 of these cases after Diddy's attorneys argued you weren't authorized to practice in the Southern District of New York. So just explain, before we go any further, explain what's happened there.
Yeah, typically when you're a licensed lawyer in New York and you're accepted in one of the federal districts, it's by reciprocity, you're accepted in the others. Well, they challenged that. And so they filed grievances against me and basically attacking my ability to practice in the Southern District of New York. And that is being sorted out. And while it's been sorted out, I withdrew from about 12 to 15 cases, but still represent those people. Those cases are still ongoing, still being represented by my firm and our local New York counsel. So I would call that a sideshow. Much ado about nothing, and we're working through it.
You've had a lot of time, obviously, since we last spoke, to really, I guess, go over all the individual stories of the 120, as it was then, alleged victims. Have you now narrowed down that number to cases that you believe are incontrovertible? Are they all, in your estimation, incontrovertible? What's the sort of credibility looking like with each of these cases now?
I'll tell you where we are now. We have 40 cases that are filed. We have 60 to 70 that will be filed in other jurisdictions. Remember, we were trying to make the limitations period that existed in the state of New York. So the rest of the cases that will be filed in other states, primarily in California. But the number's about still the same. Some people, because of these various sideshows and controversy, have dropped out, but still around 100 people who alleged that Diddy assaulted them in some way. And as I've been receiving reports on this trial as it goes forward, one thing that has struck me is that the evidence and the factual circumstances are very consistent with what these plaintiffs have alleged. So we've been watching this criminal trial very closely, as you might imagine, and have watched this go forward, and it's striking to me, the allegations that are being made and some of the testimony that came out with Cassie and some of the testimony coming out today, very consistent with what these plaintiffs in the civil cases have been alleging.
Here's how to never have to worry about money after a car accident. Listen, if you have been in a car accident in the past.
And what is the sort of modus operandi consistent pattern that you're seeing?
What I'm seeing is there's obviously a lot of violence involved, a lot of threats involved. Some of these counts, specifically transportation to engage in prostitution, that keeps coming out over and over. But also the implicit and then actually explicit threats that are made towards individuals after this conduct ends. You won't say anything, you won't do anything about this. I mean, that has jumped out at me. I've also been watching the commentators. People have been seizing upon this word and that word and saying, oh, look here, that proves that there was no coercion because Cassie, allegedly voluntarily participated in this activity. And I think one of the things that hasn't come out and hasn't been discussed that I think needs to be discussed is this idea of trauma bonding. When someone is in a long-term relationship and they have been allegedly abused, people have a hard time wrapping their head around the fact that why would they continue in the relationship? Why would they go back? And that's classic trauma bonding. There's other names for it. When people are kidnapped, you've heard about Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Heard about battered wife syndrome. What I have seen, we had somebody there during the opening statements, and of course we've been receiving real-time updates every day of the testimony, and that has jumped out at me time and time again, is that this idea of trauma bonding and these commentators who have seized upon certain snippets of text and so forth, where they talk about, well, look, Cassie was...
Because y'all know that, not to cut them off, just so everybody can update, there's no cameras inside the trial, but there are people in there tweeting like every word that's been said to the best of their abilities to get out what's going on up in there. So I do understand how he's trying to clear up the narrative of the airway and what's going on as far as what people are saying, what people are thinking. Because you know how I can go back to like how when we first start covering this, we knew absolutely nothing. So we were just throwing out whatever. We also had a person that was up in here that, you know what I'm saying, that had their opinions and gave us, you know what
You
I'm
know what I'm
saying,
saying? A setup
of an
of an
idea
idea.
where where we think the case was going. And then day two, you know, we had our little discovery, and then boom, we got hit with a whole like, let's break this down what it's for. Now that we know, and I don't know if everybody up to par. If I gotta go over the video, please just let me know. Now that we know exactly what they're looking for in this case, do y'all think that? Do y'all really think it should take 11 to 10 weeks to go through this? I'm gonna start off something easy, just an easy conversation. 11 to 10 weeks. Because remember, James, if I don't think you remember, James, you was like, this is gonna be done in a week. You was like, it's gonna be done real fast. It's estimated to be going on for 10, 11 weeks. You think it should take that long? You're gonna have to unmute yourself, but James, there's a little echo. Everybody go. Somebody. Anybody.
No, I said a month.
You said a month. Okay.
No, remember, I said at the end of the month. Remember?
End of the month. Man, that's like 2 weeks.
How long did the Johnny Depp trials take?
But that took months.
Yeah, this has a lot more going on. I think that it's gonna be a long time.
You think it's gonna
The
be
Johnny
longer than
Depp trial was civil. This is federal.
Maybe, but doesn't federal cases take longer? Like, no, you don't think?
Not, not necessarily. The
Okay.
reason why the reason why they have a high success rate is because they try to get the people to do plea bargains. And most of the people set up for a plea bargain. They don't go all the way through.
Yeah.
Do you think that he'll try to settle for some plea bargain?
No, no.
He's off the table now, right? Because he took it to trial.
They gave him a plea bargain. He didn't accept it. He ain't want it. They gave him one.
Once
He
you
ain't
don't
want it.
accept it and you go to trial, you blow trial. That's it. He felt he got a good chance, so he took his chances. So
Yeah, they gave him. They made him an offer.
I mean, Diddy is
how
up
you
here
say it?
saying
How you say it, Tia? You said they're gonna make an example out of him. I think so too. They need to.
if he's guilty, make it the
They
example.
need
If
to
he's
make an
not,
example out of him.
but you see how, but not to take, like I said, not to take sides, but to think like how Seven think. You know what I'm saying? For real, you're innocent until proven guilty. Now I know we like, but we seen that tape.
I
I
mean,
know. Go ahead.
he's innocent, yes, but he's guilty of abuse. Apparently, he's guilty of abuse, and she ain't the first one that say he's abusive. Then they got the Justin's mother. I think she about to come and say something or something. I don't know.
See,
Kim's gone, so we can't hear her side. But I heard he used to do stuff to her. She had broken arms and stuff. So
who?
Kim Porter.
Ah, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why I was thinking Lil Kim. I was say Lil Kim go.
Oh no, no, not her.
I said somebody please update me on something.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all was up here to defend Diddy, I know this is like what is y'all gonna try to do in his defense? Like, okay, what is his point of view? What do
The
y'all think?
defense is they wanted it. She wanted it. How they trying to show in them text messages and stuff? She clearly wanted it. She enjoyed doing the freak offs.
But all these other people,
They enjoyed it too. They was all look. Whoever wanted to go to the Diddy party went to the Diddy party. He ain't forced them to go. Look, 50 wasn't in the Diddy party.
Boy, look, 50 is not for to keep being y'all ace in the hole right up there.
Look, he's been sticking with what he's been sticking with from day one. He don't mess with him. He not going to them Diddy parties. He don't want Diddy taking him shopping.
What, another man gonna take me shopping, man?
Come
I
on.
looked at that dude.
No, it was funny when he pulled up that pic with him with Diddy and Meek Mill with matching shirts. Come on now. Come on now.
So how was y'all gonna prove that that my organization is not sex trafficking? Because that's a heavy duty one. When you got a dude say, yeah, I was in a whole nother state. I came across state to do a pleasure for this guy and this woman. You can't say no because you know why you can't say no, because there I am on film. Here I am.
Not
So
only that though, come on, these people who didn't want a free trip. Like I said the other day, right? Women doing it all the time. Women, men, they getting flown out cross state lines to do some things. And they willingly go. They know what it is.
yeah, but they're
Get you this flight to Cali.
but I understand that, but in the same token, in the same breath, there are millionaires, billionaire men out here that are grabbing these girls come on boats, and probably half of that is not happening. Like, I'm not trying to get off no fantasy. I may trying to show off, which is true. You know what I'm saying? I get the yacht show off because okay, the Monaco is this weekend. Do y'all know what the Monaco is? Monaco F100, one of the famous F1 races in world history. Okay, along the racetrack, they got a whole bunch of yachts. They come in. You know what I'm saying? You paying 45,000 to hit this yacht deck because you getting VIP spots of the race. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand that I'm finna go to this race, F1 race, y'all. It's popping. Everybody in the yacht game there. You know what I'm saying? We love racing. We know we finna party. You know we finna fill the yacht up, right? Come on now. We finna fill the yacht up, right? But are we finna get off of fantasy? You know what I'm saying? As a defendant of somebody, I gotta prove that. Yeah, they got on the yacht. They went out and partied. They went and got hung out. But the fantasy, the business organization part, what about that? Can we defend in somebody's behalf?
Or
Especially
where they're like paying for like prostitutes and shit like that.
the guy said, I came across state lies. It has some fun. I don't know where else to go with that one. Come on, man. We coming out there. We hanging.
Yeah.
We're hanging. So if we're hanging, then what are we doing? You know, we're drinking, we're partying, we're doing this, we're doing that. But yet again, the prosecutors are saying, yeah, but this was all organized through your business. You was getting, you know, this was paid. Basically, you use some of this stuff as a tax write-off too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh
what makes it.
shit.
That's what makes it part of the. That's what makes it part of the empire. You. That's a lot of
Mm.
money. You paying cash or however you paying, whatever you paying. If you especially tax writing this off under your business,
You know how them
Mm.
business
Diddy Entertainment, and yeah.
everything is business trip. This is a business trip.
That's why I was trying to explain to somebody like they be like, oh, rich people, billionaires, trillionaires. Bruh, you think these people take a day off? No, they don't take a day off, boy. They on work everywhere they go. Even though you see them skiing, bro, that's a business trip on me.
Yeah.
I only got to stay on a business trip to 4 that. What is the minimum? 4 hours? I just got to do 4 hours. Two, if it's like a conference meeting, we all sitting here, have a big conference meeting, talk a little business for at least 2 hours. And you got the rest of the day to do what you stop playing. Tax write off. I was at work.
Yeah.
So now we know that. We get that mindset. In the Diddy case, how y'all gonna defend that? Yeah. In y'all opinion, how y'all gonna defend that?
How have they defended themselves so far? Like what have they done so far to defend themselves?
Well, right now is discrediting everybody's testimony so far. It's like, how can you believe Cassidy and anything she say when she can't even get her story straight? So yet again, was it a what y'all call a freak off, or was it just quiet time alone with me and Diddy, and she wanted to do something extra? You
That's
see what I'm
true.
right? No, I didn't use this as a what's it called. I really used this for something else. I had leftovers and I used it for something. I would think, and I'm just speculating, but these are type of, what I'm saying, lawyer skills that I'm thinking that you finna try to use to hey, did he you know, hey my guy, he really wasn't doing that stuff.
I guess Hugh Hefner was nice to the girl. I've heard Hugh being compared to Diddy. Who's Hugh Hefner?
The
Playboy
Playboy.
Mansion?
Playboy.
Oh, I was like that name sounds familiar. Okay.
But yeah,
Okay,
I
yeah.
never heard of Hugh, degrading his women or anything. They was loving it in the Playboy Mansion. They was having
I
great times in there.
I
Yeah.
don't know anything about Playboy. I think all that's just before my time, you know?
Oh.
Actually, before your time and still present, because you know what I'm saying, Playboy still is like well known, bro. It's an easy
Yeah.
documentary to look up. But yeah, before your time, but and that even before my time of going to these parties and classes, this is where it was free to be nude in America. People didn't have a problem with nudity and exposing themselves for as that. You know what I'm saying? These ladies, what they did behind closed doors wasn't all exposed. It was, you know what I'm saying? It was printable. It was class to it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, no class to it. There's a class to it, but we don't see that. In modern day, you just see ass, 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 ass.
Yep.
Where back in the day, you had to have class because you had to respect to go home. You had to go home to your wife. You had to go home to your kids. So yet again, when you was out in these streets back in the 70s, yeah, 70s, 60s, 40s, and all that's the good old days, as they call it, the golden days. I don't know if the 70s and the golden days, don't quote me on that part, but understand the golden days was an era where, yeah, it was nice, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got along, you know what I'm saying, was drinking in the clubs, it was smoking on the airplanes, it was smoking in the airports, it was smoking in the bars.
The
Boy,
cool. Calm
yeah.
cool.
Beer had
A great
commercials.
time.
Cigarettes had their commercials. Guns had their commercials. Everybody was getting it in. Gold Rush. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna go into the other parts and all that other stuff. We say that for the other people. Get back into this. What we're talking about with the Diddy era is like them people, by the time Diddy got into the game, which would be the 80s, we talked all the way up into the 70s. Diddy came in the 80s, where another influence kicked in. the new generation influence kicked in. You know what I'm saying? And then the 90s, that generation influence kicked in. And then the 2000s, and then on to your generation of what you see of influence in the sex era.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not hard to see sex everywhere and how easy explicit it is. You know, you can go right to OnlyFans. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they, and mostly time that when you see an OnlyFans person on a show, what's that show? Forever? What I think it's forever. Um, it be like that.
Music is finna change. Is hip hop dead now? Are we asking if hip hop's dead right now?
It really kind of is. I
I
mean,
have. Go
I don't
ahead.
know. I don't really listen this hip hop. I haven't really been listening to hip hop in a while because most of it is just like once they really came with all of that mumbling stuff. I can't get with that.
That was my favorite. I'm young. That was my favorite era. Was like the
Hmm.
SoundCloud and the Lil Pumps and all that. Only because it was like a lot of fun. But lately, I haven't been paying attention to like rap and stuff like that. I've been going back and listening to like old rock music, like Korn and
What?
Foo Fighters and stuff like that.
Yeah,
See,
like
So
and
something
that's
that
one thing. I like all different types of music. Like
just
yeah,
just to enlighten you on that, something that my culture don't really do for the young generation around y'all. It's a few that still do. You know what I'm saying? It's a few that still like the oldies, but it's a few that it's majority of that would denounce anything that's old because they use the word old. I'm
yeah.
telling you, I
crazy.
when because Dame Dash is still looked up to, and when he said it, when we made hip hop a young man's sport, I think that's where they messed up at. Now, wherever they
Mhm.
did that at, I don't know. I'm not picking, I'm not choosing. But whenever they did that point, period, that's where they messed up in the game. Where
Mm,
they made hip hop a young man's sport.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, I put my kids on to the old school stuff. Like yeah, because some of the best music came from back.
Mhm.
Some music like that we'll never get again.
Um, no. It's like I'm gonna use this analysis just for analysis. It's like a twinkle in the star that you rarely see. It's gonna always be a talent that brings back something that's genuine, that reminds you of something of old. Because without
Mhm.
something of old, you cannot make nothing new,
Yeah. A lot
right?
of a lot of music is tying into like what's it called? Like a feeling of the time. And you go back and you listen to the old music and then it reminds me of where or reminds you of where you were at that time and like when you were listening to that music and all that.
Hmm.
All right, y'all. What else y'all want to get into?
Right. No substance in the rap.
No substance in the rap.
She said, yeah,
Well, if
they're
they,
not about
well,
not
It's Kanye.
technically, it is substance because if they're doing what they're saying they're doing,
substance abuse.
okay, okay, there you go. But there you go, though. But and only reason they get away with it is because luckily we got this amendment that people only want to use when it comes to it. This amendment called freedom of speech.
Mhm.
Because without freedom of speech, I promise you, some of these people would not be okay. All right, because y'all, some of y'all out there talk. too much. I tell it all. Like what time, where it did, what happened, who you did it with, which
Y'all
I
pay
did it
attention
in.
to what y'all pay attention to what Kanye doing right now.
What
No,
is
what's
Kanye?
Kanye on? Send it to me while I do this story real quick.
Okay.
Just a story that I believe that you was talking about.
Continue to emerge tonight about the 25-year-old suspect believed to be behind yesterday's massive blast outside of a fertility clinic.
The FBI is investigating the incident as an act of terrorism as they reveal more about a possible motive. KTLA5's Rachel Menitoff joins us live from Palm Springs with the very latest on the investigation. Hi there.
Hi, Court. Hi, Karine. Good evening to you both. This man apparently was not on the FBI's radar, but he was certainly sharing some of his ideologies online. One expert tells me the attacker was anti-life, and he may have targeted this fertility clinic because of his views and because of its proximity to his home about 55 miles away.
Oh my God. All from this explosion, poor guy.
New details unfolding about the man
I'm
accused
sorry.
of setting off an amateur bomb, which leveled the American Reproductive
Amateur?
Center's clinic in Palm Springs
That's an
Saturday
amateur
afternoon.
ball?
It's like a mushroom cloud went up, real dark black mushroom right here, and debris flying everywhere. It reminded me a lot of what I saw in Washington when I lived there during 9/11.
The deceased perpetrator is identified as 25-year-old Guy Edward Bartkiss, who lived about an hour away from the crime scene in 29 Palms. Authorities say he specifically targeted the fertility clinic, likely because of his anti-pro-life views. They discovered a manifesto believed to belong to the attacker, who seems to reject life. A mentality experts say is part of a small extremist movement. The FBI today also saying this about the man's motivations.
We believe he was attempting to live stream it, and yes, that is also
Right.
part of our.
Ain't nothing
Bartkiss
amateur
is apparently
about that
trying to
ball.
upload a live.
Ain't nothing amateur about that.
See there.
He done blew some up. Nothing amateur.
I think the amateur part is like
How he made it.
and it's the first time. You know what I'm saying? There hasn't been no other altercations or no other reports of bombs or even small
He did a
bombs.
great
Probably.
job. He did a great job here. Mission accomplished. Like what?
Okay. I'm not supposed to be laughing during this segment right here. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be taking this serious.
Look, but he did.
I mean, he was serious. Yeah, that guy was
Yeah,
serious.
it was serious.
Yeah, but
You don't want nobody bringing no lives into this world.
This, in my opinion, is more. It's deeper than rap, as what we would say. It's deeper than rap. You know what I'm saying? This is you hanging. This is what they would say cult like activity.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Just to keep it professional and words that I know that fits what I think is close enough to describe what he was going through. You know what I'm saying? What led him up to this? This is this is cult. This is you sitting somewhere, listen to a bunch of people, and y'all all agree on one agenda. You know what I'm saying? Somebody says something big, bad, and bold. You sitting over there in the corner. You hear him say the big, bad, and bold, but you like, dang, you know what I'm saying? He ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? You go home, you looking up the internet. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to show and tell. You know what I'm saying? One day, few months on down the road, you keep hearing the same old. Because in one of these things, they talk about the same thing over, 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 and over, and over again. Down with the whatever, down with the whatever, down with the whatever. Down, you know what I'm saying? driving the person crazy. Then hey, that person in that corner that we was talking about earlier, because you know the leader ain't doing nothing, but that person in the corner, this is him.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you think he
Quiet
was?
kid.
Yeah. Come on,
She
dog.
gonna make a
He
move.
listening. He down. He
She gonna make a
down. But
move for him.
hey,
Y'all scared? I
I but it ain't really all right. It's just like I really believe. Let me show them I believe because I don't have a voice.
mm-hmm.
But you know, they ain't gonna look at it like that. They just want the why'd you do it? Who's your leader? Where we going? You know what I'm saying? To be safe. But yeah, this that. You know what I'm saying? That why you think he was gonna stream? He was gonna stream right to the homies.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Hey. I know the FBI looking at me like, we need that kid. We need that kid. Nah, for real, bro. This is like I said, if there was more attempts that was going on in the city around, even like I said, small, real small stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then it wouldn't have been no amateur. If this like his first time he went out, like you said, congratulations. Then yeah. hmm This is what you get.
Probably been
Yeah.
showing hatred. This hate crime too.
Yeah, definitely a hate crime. He hate life. That's what he hate.
Man.
He
Hopefully
gonna mess
everybody
up
was safe
now.
up in there. Everybody was safe up in there.
For
Hopefully everybody.
real. Look, hopefully he did it when it was closed. Nobody was in there.
Please, I hope so. That would be the smart thing. All right.
Look, you still got your point across, and you ain't hurt nobody.
Oh, if you're gonna show those songs that I sent you, what are you streaming on? You're streaming on Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah.
Are you streaming on TikTok?
No,
Okay.
Yeah.
Then they
bro,
should be
Stay
fine
away
to
from
show.
PT.
bruh. I wouldn't dare
PT got
bring.
so much rules.
Yeah. And then if we was on like I ain't gonna lie now, we was on TikTok, bruh, that comments would have been going crazy. Now, I
Yeah.
will give it that. Cause they would all types of people would have been up in here.
Yeah.
They would-
Are you gonna show the Kanye song?
yeah. Is that okay?
Well, no, I was just asking because it's crazy and it could get you in trouble with TikTok or something. At least the first one. I was gonna say if you're streaming on like TikTok, just skip the first one and go to the second one.
It's his album lyrics?
Yeah.
No. Cause even me streaming it on YouTube, that hit me because it's his songs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you know what his songs are? There's two songs that I'm talking about. Do you know what these two songs are about?
I have not heard of Kanye new songs at all. I am not gonna lie to you.
What the songs is about?
The first one is just him saying, uh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it on here. I don't want to get you in trouble for saying it.
Hold on. So okay,
Like
so
H8.
let me ask questions. So is it got anything to do with the rhetoric that he got against the Jews?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one is just him saying HH, you know? Do you know what I mean by HH?
Ah, I think we should be able to say that on her.
Okay, he's saying
His
Heil
name,
Hitler.
his name, right?
Huh?
Yeah, Hell Hitler.
Yeah, he's saying that. He's got
Yeah, I
that
think we should
song.
be okay.
Okay. Do you want to play
No.
it?
Because I don't
Okay.
know. I think the song will get us in trouble, but us talking about it shouldn't.
Even
Okay.
if we
You
just
see, you see what I'm saying?
not
Yeah.
playing the whole thing, playing a little snippet.
I yet again, if it's that controversial, I don't know.
Mm.
It's gotten taken down from every streaming platform. That's
See,
Oh
yet
wow.
so
again. So therefore, I know we should be able to talk about it,
yeah.
but not be able to play it. It has to be like you have to pull up the words and we can read it.
Mm.
Oh yeah, you can pull up the words and read it, and then we can pull it up on screen for them to see it. That's about it. I know we can do that.
You said the I don't even know how to say that.
It
Shaquilla Robinson case. Um, I know she did her testifying and she's out of there. What happened with her? They was trying to discredit her. I know that.
That's basically what they all going to try to do. But if, like I said, if
She
cases,
couldn't remember if he hit her with the skillet or if he threw the eggs at her. But at this point, what do that matter? It was a long time ago. How do they expect people to remember, exact details of this stuff?
because I do believe these, you have to present these allegations first. Like you have to present like what evidence, what do you like, what is your testimony? Is that the right words I'm using? I do believe that. What is your testimony? Because you had to testify something. You know what I'm saying?
That she seen
Or,
him with the
or
abuse that she seen him do to Cassie.
because yet again, we don't know if how much film is getting exposed.
And
Like,
then I think she brought Jay-Z into it.
oh, said, man, all you had to ask for 60. I would have gave you 35. At least something. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I don't know. Hope,
Okay.
don't come after me, cause I heard your lawyer on fire. We just seen him on the Piers Morgan show.
What he said about Adolf Hitler and his lyrics. And did the friends get charged? Did they bring the case to America?
what happened?
I don't
Chris
know.
Chris Brown has got charged in another country, and no, they cannot
Mm.
bring his charges. For one, no, you're not bringing no charges to America. That's not happening.
Mm.
Cause that means we have to pay
Exactly.
for it. Who's gonna pay for that?
Hmm.
Yeah, for real. A lot of people got to think about like when it comes to stuff like that. Who wants to pay for that? And if you know the government's not going to pay for it, you're going to make the citizens pay for it, and I don't want to pay for that.
Mm-mm.
Do you want to pay for Chris Brown to come back
No. Leave
over
him
here for
where he
something?
at.
All
Leave him
right,
right where he at.
he did it over there. I don't want to pay for that. I don't care if it's a damn dollar out of my pocket. Oh, it's not that much. It's just $1.50. I don't care. I didn't do it.
Stop doing dumb stuff. Cross state lines. Out the country and stuff. Come on
I'm
now.
talking.
You know they rules different.
Okay, so can somebody look up this case? Because she wants us to talk about it, and I don't want to
That's
make her mad. Because you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get yelled at. Because I think like
What?
I think she's gonna
Shaquilla
start talking in,
Robinson.
yeah. She might start talking in capital letters next.
Let's see.
You know what? It took me to 30 years old to find out talking in capital letters meaning somebody's yelling at you. I did never know that, bro. I just thought maybe you accidentally hit the the cap button. You just
Yeah.
kept on, the hell. I don't put the note. I do not put feelings in no doggone text message. That stuff do not work with me.
Shaquilla Robinson update. Okay. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, the girl that was okay. Her friends had killed her. Well, on the trip in
Someone.
Mexico.
Oh, okay.
She got alcohol poisoning.
So they say.
100 million. It's
All
a
right.
$100 million lawsuit.
Whoa. Send me a video real quick. Send me a video real quick.
The lawsuit filed by her mother, Shalamandra Robinson, names the plaintiffs. Names as plaintiffs. Okay.
To this now, it has been more.
Okay, we own it. Normally, nobody never really have us investigating a case on the spot, but you know what I'm saying. That's what's up.
Check your check your box.
I got it. I'm getting it. Y'all know I got commercials. Man, we on to new activity.
More than 2.5 years since 25-year-old Shanquella Robinson died while vacationing with friends in Cabo, Mexico, and her family says that they're still fighting for answers.
Today, a federal judge heard arguments in a lawsuit Shanquella's mother filed against the FBI, the State Department, and the people who were on the trip.
WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre was in the courtroom today, joining us now from Uptown Live. So, Jesse, what's the latest in this case?
Well, every side was heard in this case today, and every party named in this lawsuit is asking the judge to dismiss this case. And attorneys for some of Shanquella Robinson's travel companions are asking that if the case be heard, that it be heard in Mexico.
United States citizen should not be allowed to go overseas, harm another, or be involved in harm with another United States citizen and come back to the United States and essentially say that they're on base, that they're not going to be held liable, accountable, or responsible.
Shanquella Robinson died in Mexico in 2022. At first, friends told her family it was alcohol poisoning, but then a video surfaced showing Shanquella being violently beaten on the trip. Now her mother is suing the FBI, the U.S. Department of State, and the 6 people who were on the trip. Attorneys for the travel mates want the lawsuit thrown out, but argue if it is heard, Mexico is the proper place to handle the case because that's where the incident happened, where the key evidence is, and where 24 other witnesses are, like the medical professionals and the law enforcement who handled the case. Ms. Sue Ann Robinson, who represents Shanquella's estate, strongly disagrees, saying the conspiracy and cover-up into Shanquella's death happened here in the U.S.
The convenient forum would be the forum in which all 6 of the individuals who were present in the room when the crime occurred, for them to be heard and give their testimony and have their day in court here.
She also raised concerns about a trial in Mexico with a language barrier and navigating the justice system there.
Yeah.
Was that the lawyer?
Yes, that was the lawyer. Now, in this case right here, that's a different than talking about the Chris Brown case. Okay, I'll just first and foremost, let me put that out there. This is totally different because what she's saying is the first crime is the FBI knew that she wasn't poisoned, that she was brutally battered. So she's going against the FBI. That needs to come to be in case over here in America. That does not need to be over there corrupted in Mexico, for one.
So the friend's still in Mexico.
No, they all back, but yet again, it's basically like there was no charges at first to them. You know what I'm saying? Because they all their testimonies lined up together that she was alcohol poisoning until a video surfaced came out showing something different. So yet again, it's like where the video come from, which, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if we able to look that up and find out where this video surfaced from, but still, the fact that the video surfaced came out alludes to that the FBI, who investigated the case, who agreed with everybody else's testimonies, was false. And that's where, okay, that's where it becomes a problem right there. Because if y'all all agree and the video shows something totally different, then we got to do something about that. That case needs to be drawn out. So I get it. I get it. I see what you mean. I feel like this. Hey, and this has been swept up under the rug because I ain't gonna lie. I remember this, but I didn't even know it was still going, and I do apologize. You know what I'm saying? Not keeping
Yeah,
up on,
you see how
not
things
keeping up
go,
on
and
my.
people could just forget all about
But
stuff.
yeah, but see, I'm building a beautiful team, and we gonna keep up on cases like this. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna keep the follow-ups and keep talking about these stories like these. Stories like this need to keep talking about because I'm
You
interested
know,
in to figure out what happens.
that reminds me about the Kamika Jenkins out in Chicago when she got found in the freezer in the hotel, and
Ooh, that
nobody
was
knew what happened.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
I can't believe I remember exactly what you're talking about.
because that was crazy. They were saying possible organ donor, not organ donor, but they were stealing her organs. That's why they had her in the freezer, like all kind of crazy stuff.
It takes a community like you coming in. We appreciate you bringing it up.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up because I'm like forgot all about that. That's sad.
I've never even heard about this case.
Hey, Miss Love.
Well, let's finish the video.
I'm so happy you're not talking
There.
The Mexican civil litigation system is completely different. There's no jurors.
Attorneys for the tribal may decline to say much outside of the courtroom.
We have no comment at this time. No comment.
Meanwhile, Jaquella Robinson's father, who was in the courtroom, says he is not giving up.
Only thing I can do is stand for Shanquella and talk. Be her mouth, be her voice. Because she didn't deserve this at all.
She looked like a pop.
So what's next? Well, the judge heard all of the arguments in this case, but has not made a final decision yet. So we'll be watching out for that final ruling. Live in Uptown, Jesse Pierre, WCNC Charlotte.
All right. Thank you for keeping us posted, Jesse.
Okay, hold on. Let me subscribe to that. Yep, thing. So I can, do my due diligence of homework, of keeping up with that case. Cause that's the only way we're gonna keep up with that case is, what I'm saying. Yeah, take that out. Yeah, I appreciate it. I always ask anybody have anything out there that wants to be discussed, that needs to be discussed, that needs to be broken down. Please send it to me. Come onto the show. Let me know. Inbox me. Get a hold of me because I don't mind taking the time to discuss this and making a voice because I know this is going to be made into some shorts. I'll bring it over there to the TikTok world. You know what I'm saying? I'll bring it up in conversations over there. I will talk about it everywhere on all these platforms to let the voice be heard because in my eyes, our voices need to be heard. For real, for real. All right. Boy, this has been interesting.
So I'm guessing the last one that I sent you is the most recent about what's going on with the Diddler.
with his name being said, the
With
Obama part.
yeah,
Yeah, I seen this, and like what killed me about this was like his name was mentioned, but like never brought back up. It
why
was
was
just
it mentioned?
They was just saying they met, right?
yeah, because the dude that they interviewed had all ties. But I do understand how she making a headline, but yet again, it just
So it really don't got nothing to do with nothing.
I don't know because I
They
didn't see this
so
version.
stupid.
I just seen the part where she talks about breaking it down. We can get to the point where there's more details about the Obama. Let's get to it. Ooh, damn! Don't pass it up. I got you. I got you. But I feel you because why is the president, former president of the United States, getting brought in?
Yeah, I want to bring him up in something.
Isn't it like Diddy would like help with campaign and stuff, like same way celebrities do with
He got the key to the
other
city of New York
politicians?
from this from Mayor what's the mayor of New York? What's his name? This last one?
Yeah.
This recent one right here? He just he got the key to the city. Take that, take
Hmm.
that.
Mm.
Yeah, I
And
had
him
to,
a big party too, huh?
I had to I don't care what nobody say. I guarantee the mayor been to a Diddy party. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
If
had to
T.D.
say that
Jakes
like
was
that.
at a Diddy party,
He was there, front row seats, pimping.
pimping, pimping.
Pimp.
Not a family member, not an associate, do this type of activity for you, it falls under the workload, the work purview, the job description of the employees to engage in illegal activity. The prosecution ended up asking James a series of questions that led to him admitting that he often was around when Diddy would meet with high profile celebrities, but also politicians. Now, the prosecution asked, which politicians, who did he meet with? He said, former presidents. Which former president? Barack Obama. So this is the second time that Barack Obama's name has been brought up. I'm actually working on a video that details Diddy's ties to Barack Obama, but then also, guys, another thing that was not brought up in court, but I have a full video coming out about it, that Diddy is actively seeking a pardon from Trump. Diddy is a known Democrat, right? I mean, not just a A-list or a celebrity who voted for the Democrats. He actively campaigned for different Democrats. He had the Vote or Die initiative with Oprah. He had all of these different, he was heavily, heavily involved in politics. He wasn't just, kind of like a celebrity on the side who's just like, oh, vote blue. No, he was deeply entrenched in the Democrat Party. And so now with all of this coming out, it begs to question, why in the world is he now seeking a pardon for Trump? Again, the Trump thing is not part of this case and it was not brought up in court. It has nothing to do with this, but it just to show you the delusion of Diddy, that who is an active Democrat who has all of this out on him. He now wants Trump to pardon him. It gets wild in the report that I'm going to give you guys. So
And we just gonna take it from there. I'm sorry.
So what happened?
So what happened? So basically, one of the people who I I guess is an entourage, a sleep around. Just
Hmm.
got to see Obama a few times. You know what I'm saying? P-Diddy sat down with Obama. Now, what he sat down with Obama, this person don't know. But yet again, it's the fact that this person remembers seeing Obama. I I really, yeah, I really can't go into too much detail of that, but the simple fact that, you know, that's like Barack, they probably got a little business for properties or property values or whatever, book signings or I don't know, that just kind of makes sense that they would know each other. That yeah, you would see him occasionally, here and there and here, run across in New York somewhere, run across over there in California. Yeah, you'll see that. Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
But then it's the Trump part that's what I'm saying. At first I thought she was gonna say that Trump is gonna pardon or is trying to pardon. But when she
Yeah.
clarified that he asked Trump for an pardon, like stop playing.
That's probably why
Yeah.
he really just laughing and he like, yeah, Trump got me. That's my dude from way back. Trump got me. He gonna get me out. Now let's see what Trump gonna do.
I do know that Trump and Diddy have some sort of relationship. How deep their relationship is, I don't know, but they got like photos and shit with each other. It doesn't, as far as I could see, nothing too deep, but
Yeah, which yet again, me not over exaggerating, just keeping it 100. I expect it. You expect them to cross each other somewhere and get a quick photo. That's Diddy. Diddy want to get a photo with everybody, be in that light, say that he was with that. I get that, but you know what I'm saying. It's when it come down to the business, sitting down at the table. What business did we do?
I was just thinking that if Trump been in them Diddy parties, because he might have some videos of Trump from back in the
Trump
day
Trump
that
has
it
his own,
doesn't.
but see, that's something. Trump has his own parties.
but again,
I
Mar-a-Lago. Don't forget y'all, Mar-a-Lago. I'm golf
it's
courses. Go ahead.
po politicians and like business billionaires, they got their own thing. That's called Epstein's Island. Diddy parties is for like celebrities and shit. That's what it sounds like. Hold on. No, they got pictures together though, him and Diddy, and I'm sure that there's pictures of like Barack Obama and Diddy together, because
Yeah.
Kamala Harris also has been around Diddy. It sounds like Diddy's just around everybody. I wouldn't say that you could accuse them of like being at these Diddy parties just because you got photos of them together. But I don't know. Maybe there will be evidence in the future.
I know them
Yeah.
kids know.
I mean, all it takes is just to see some paper document of some business transaction. But um, with that all that it take, y'all. I mean, let's be honest. Friendship photoshops, yeah, whatever. If they can prove that they had some type of business transaction, would that kind of change the outlook? Will we look at Trump like, hold on, wait a minute, Trump, he did the business deal. What business deal?
Maybe, but also business people, they're just all about like networking. They
Shine John for
talk.
the Trump and Trump name. Let
What
me get some
happened?
Shine John shoes, but put Trump name on it. See, that's like a marketing plan that if some
Oh yeah.
I can okay, I can understand that. I can get that. It's a little weird, but oh, okay. Sean John Trump collab on a shoe. Uh,
Is that real? They had some sort of collaboration with the shoe,
no,
or is
I'm just
that just
thinking
an example?
that's just an example of what
Oh,
type of
okay, yeah,
business. Other than that, I can just think that Diddy probably got, you know what I'm saying, some rooms in the Trump Tower somewhere in his name. Probably somewhere.
yeah.
I know Trump probably like, come on, don't put me in this. Now you want to have me at a Diddy freak off.
you're gonna have somebody finna come out with a Trump rapping bars like don't put me in this bitch. Whoever be making them Trump rap out songs be funny. I'm finna play a little bit more, y'all.
Make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell because I think I'm going to drop it today. During the cross-examination, Agnifilo asked James why he wasn't afraid to testify about all of these sensitive events, possibly implicating him to illegal activity. Well, James calmly replied that he has a proffer agreement with the government, essentially confirming that he's cooperating with the government under legal protection. This was a significant revelation. It adds weight to his testimony and shows the feds see him as more than just a former assistant. He's a cooperating witness. Now, I don't know if he has any type of deal or I mean, what's the details are or any type of crimes that he could be tied to. But either way, this is significant. So I don't really know if it's going to impact the prosecution's case that much. It could help the defense to show, listen, this guy is only claiming this stuff because he doesn't want to get, his own charges. He's a witness for the prosecution. He's basically signed a deal or has a deal in order to throw Diddy under the bus. So can you really trust what he's saying? Which is a common thing to do with witnesses. But again, like I tell you, you can't just take one witness in isolation. You got to add them all up at the end. Agnifilo also tried softening James's image of Diddy, getting him to admit that he actually respected him as a businessman, and especially for his work with Sean John. James also called Bad Boy Entertainment like a family, noting he had genuine friendships with the people that were there. And he even talked about how, Diddy's mother, that he was kind of close with Diddy's mother and that she would come in and that she knew her and that she would, they would be treated like family. Now, I don't know about your family, but a lot of the things alleged there are pretty wild. So, and Diddy being the man that he is, you have to think about who raised him. Now, there have been rumors about Mama Combs for many years and her involvement in things. There's even information out there. I don't know if it was in a lawsuit or not. I cannot remember. So don't quote me on this, but I know it did happen that Diddy slapped his mother in the face one time really hard. So I don't know if
I heard that quote said by one of Diddy's security guards. I do remember hearing that. I do remember hearing that. Yes, sir. Man, what you just sent me, Jason? Oops.
Oh, I looked up Trump and Diddy pictures together, and it seems like they got some sort of relationship. There's a lot of photos of them together.
Them things look old as day. Like back in the day, yeah, when back in the day when he could do some dirt. Oh, I need to learn how to use that. Yeah, I don't know everything how to use on her yet. Mm-mm. I almost. Sometimes I get a little lost. Oh, there we go. I was like, where the pitch at? Ding.
Oh, I think that
Now,
Barack Obama did an interview with Diddy. That's what it's looking like
I
for
need to learn how.
MTV.
I need to learn how to do the. Where's the zoom in button? Somebody screenshot. I heard that. Hey,
Uh,
that's funny that you heard it. Like somebody screenshot it. Like that's funny.
so I just looked it up for, you know, transparency where
Yeah,
you got Obama and then you got Trump, but it looks like Obama did an interview with Diddy. It looks like a long time ago, like I don't know, maybe like 15 years ago.
Ah, but look how young Trump look. Like it look like Diddy looked like a stepchild to Trump. Yeah, he do. He just look young. He looks very young.
It looks like before he ran for president too.
Boy, that's
Yeah, way
way.
before.
This look like in the 80s
Early
where
90s.
The
early
one where
90s.
he's like wearing the top hat like that looks like in the 90s or something.
Yeah, that looks 90, early 2000 ish. Cause ain't that Blanca? I can never pronounce her name right.
Ivanka.
How do you pronounce her? Ivanka?
Ivanka? Okay. Well, Trump. Well,
Oh, Melania. Melania.
That's his new wife, right?
as long as my boy ain't just don't Trump. I don't even know what to say to Trump. Trump, I don't know. Just stay out of it. Just stay out of it. Try whatever you do, homie. Stay out of this one. Find something else better to do, please.
Please.
Because you involve yourself in this one, it's a wrap. It's over. Everybody gonna have a field day with that one. They is not gonna let it go.
Yep. You better stay where you at.
They gonna be. I bet you we'll have viewers up in here. Yeah, you's a Trump supporter. Oh yeah, woo 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 woo. You at Diddy parties too.
Now you in Diddy party.
Hey, look,
They done dragged you up in there.
everybody that voted for Trump do been to a Diddy party.
Bad, bad.
Hey, hey, I can't wait to see CNN. They gonna show me like everybody, everybody, all of them. Well, I ain't even famous enough to get in a Diddy party.
Mm-mm.
Boy, I sold CDs in St. Louis, and I don't even think I sold 10,000 of them. So I know Diddy don't know me.
Mm.
He didn't get my CD. For people that don't know what that is, that was an era of time where people got their music off of. I don't know why we gotta explain stuff like people got what CDs is.
For real. They will not know.
All right, what else we got? We got one more. We got one more to cover before we go. Oops, I done took down the wrong one.
So I was kind of glad about the because I didn't really know nothing about the tariffs, and I was just like, what is he doing? Leave them people alone. While we getting our goods, leave them alone. But now I have a better understanding of what it is, and yes, somebody needed to start negotiating some things. Cause
Or
yeah,
did I put that in the chat or put? I know I sent that to you, so I need to go.
yeah, you sent it to me.
I just think this is a good video that explains tariffs as
Yes.
a whole, so you can just understand what it's for, what it's about.
Yeah, because I mean, and I'm sure it's plenty other people out there too that really don't know what, we just hearing the word tariff, 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 and we like, oh, he's taxing them and da da da. But yeah, it's about time. It's about time. All these other presidents just left it like that. No negotiations from way back. Like, come on.
Oh, I didn't even know I sent you. I sent you Nate the lawyer, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got me right.
So before I bring this video up, just quick question: do y'all think with these tariffs that iPhones are going to cost us $13,000 in the near future? Like, is this going to cost us a lot of money? That's going to be like
It'll
ridiculous.
go up, but it's not gonna be crazy. He negotiated like at the beginning of the tariff stuff. Not the very beginning, but he ended up negotiating to where we're not tariffing electronic products from like China.
So for the people that are watching, I appreciate everybody up in here for one. Let me say that. But I'm finna go into this to explain to everybody who really doesn't get a good concept because I didn't. So I had to do my homework. And this was like this video, and I got another video that just broke it down very expeditiously.
Communication from some of his aides. He said it's very simple. If you tariff us, we will tariff you at the same rate, and we will talk about the rest later. But we want an equal playing field to get back to actual fair trade.
But we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us. If you look at that, China, first row, China, 67%. That's tariffs charged to the USA, including currency manipulation and trade barriers. So 67%, I think you can, for the most part, see it. Those with good eyes, with bad eyes. We didn't want to bring, it's very windy out here. We didn't want to bring out the big charts because it had no chance of standing. Fortunately, we came armed with a little smaller chart. So it's 67%. So we're going to be charging a discounted reciprocal tariff of 34%. I think, in other words, they charge us, we charge them less. So how can anybody be last week?
Okay, let's look at the Trump tariffs and see what's going on.
Nate the Lawyer, man, go check him out. YouTube.
All right, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to look at the Trump tariffs. We're going to look at what's going on, why they're imposing tariffs, the reasoning behind the tariffs, how they're being implemented on a worldwide scale, and the response to tariffs. And you get to make the decision who has the better argument. All right, on April 2nd, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump announced sweeping new tariffs that are affecting over 180 different countries. Now, the next question is obviously, what authority does the president have to issue these tariffs? Now, the Constitution answers our question. It says here, Article 1, Section 8, that Congress has the power to levy tariffs against foreign nations. So now, I know your next question. You're like, well, it's the president of the United States who are levying these tariffs. So this has to be unconstitutional, right? This rationale is the basis of this conservative group's lawsuit against Trump's recent tariffs.
Conservative legal advocacy group has filed the first known legal challenge to the Trump administration's tariffs. The new Civil Liberties Alliance filed the lawsuit on behalf of Simplified, a Florida-based company that sells planners and other home organization products. The group claims President Trump does not have the legal authority to impose tariffs on Chinese imports, which the company heavily relies on for its business.
Now, Trump's authority to pass the recent round of tariffs come from a law called the International Emergency and Economic Powers Act. And this law was passed in the 1970s. Now, the rationale for this law came from an earlier Supreme Court decision from Field v. Clark in 1892. Now, in that case, a company sued the federal government claiming that Congress had given the president way too much lawmaking authority and allowing the president to raise tariffs on things like sugar, coffee, and other goods. But the Supreme Court said that the president was only carrying out Congress's policy, and their policy was dictated by the law they passed, giving the president the authority to raise and lower tariffs in this way. So the International Emergency Economic Powers Act gives the president that authority to raise and lower taxes as he sees needed based on an emergency that may have developed. Now, what type of emergency? Well, it's really up to the president to decide. And President Trump has declared a national emergency when it comes to tariffs.
In short, chronic trade deficits are no longer merely an economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security and our very way of life. It's a very great threat to our country. And for these reasons, starting tomorrow, the United States.
Everybody following along so far on the tariffs? Like, the beginning? Because I know they're trying to hit me. Let me just take let me take that down real quick. Go ahead.
Okay, so do you know how they actually calculated the tariffs?
Who is they?
Or Trump's team? Do you know how
Trump
they
administration?
calculated? Huh?
No, I don't know exactly how they calculated. No.
Okay, so I sent you a picture on in the
Oh, yeah,
group
I seen
chat.
that. I seen that.
You see the equation? That's the equation that they used to determine what their tariffs are, right? This was posted on the government website.
On Doge.
No, on the government website.
So what did Doge show?
I don't know. I don't think the tariffs have to do with Doge.
Because you know Doge post everything. Nah, I know. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
Okay. So here, I've had it explained to me, but I don't basically what they're doing is calculating the trade deficits that they have on with these countries, right? And that's what they're calculating this off of. It isn't based off reciprocal tariffs. It's based off of the fuck. I want to find this video
All right, let's go back.
that explains it
I just
better.
needed somebody to talk for that. He did. He did perfect, boy. I swear y'all the most best crew I ever worked with.
States will implement reciprocal tariffs on other nations.
And also, as you see here, the White House put out a fact sheet on why President Donald J. Trump declared a national emergency so he can increase tariffs. So now let's just quickly recap. Article 1 of the Constitution delegates the power to institute tariffs to Congress. Congress delegated some of that authority to the president, and the president is exercising that authority under emergency powers. Now, this is where the legal fight is going to happen, obviously. What's an emergency? What's an emergency necessary to trigger the president using this authority to tariff other nations? Who gets to determine if this emergency rises to that level? Now, there are some Republicans in the U.S. Senate who are demanding that the Congress take back its authority to tariff away from the president and end the emergency.
This is a tax, plain and simple. Taxes should not be enacted by one person. So I will vote today to end the emergency. I will vote today to try to reclaim the power of taxation, the power of the tariff, to where the Constitution designated it should properly be.
I should have known. Should have known. Commercials come through.
And that is in Congress.
So the question here is simple. Are trade deficits national emergencies? And then what about the reverse? Like we saw earlier, the United Kingdom or Australia, which have trade surpluses with the United States, why would they be subject to a 10% tax? You could make the argument that the emergency declaration doesn't apply to them, but yet Trump and his administration have added tariffs to their imports anyway. But until we get more information, this seems to be the state of play. The Trump administration published this formula, which they use to determine the tariffs for each. The Trump administration published this formula.
Sir, you talking about that formula right there?
Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah. See, I knew that. I knew we was going.
Is he explaining it right now?
Yes, he's explaining it. But what he's explaining is, if we consume majority of the world's and what they make, everybody all over the world, you know what I'm saying? We consume majority of everybody's stuff. But yet again, we can't produce nothing out there and in no other countries. That seems to be a problem. So if that's going to be a problem, we're going to make a tax bracket, basically, because that's what he showed you a chart. We're going to make a tax bracket to show the people like, hey, we're going to go by these taxes so we can be a little bit more balanced, because yet again, we consume a lot until we start exporting more goods out of our country, or bringing jobs, or bringing y'all factory jobs here to the country. And so therefore American people make a profit off of it, you make a profit off of it. You see the business part of it?
I get that, and I understand that we're in a trade deficit with all these countries. Not
Uh-huh.
every single one of them, but we're in a trade deficit. I think overall as a country we are in a trade deficit, but I don't think that that necessarily means that it's weakening our country in any type of way, right? But I was just pointing out the fact that they're not reciprocal tariffs. It's a calculation based off of our trade deficit. That's what I was pointing out. They're not really reciprocal.
Just because they came up with an equation to start somewhere, to start off somewhere, to this is how, like, you got to start
No,
off. Go ahead.
what I'm saying is they're not reciprocal tariffs because saying that's reciprocal tariffs is implying that they have a percent tariff, like base tariff on our goods. So we're gonna reciprocate that by doing a base tariff on them. Uh, that's what I mean by we're not doing reciprocal tariffs. It's based off of our trade deficit with these countries. But the problem with doing it like that is that you have some countries that are on there that uh are like these really small countries where they're not going to buy our expensive stuff, but we get really important stuff from them, uh like I don't know, fish or something. We get like fish from this country, but they're a poor country. They don't have stuff to buy, like they don't have the money to buy stuff from us, so
I
they don't
get it
really buy
because,
stuff
like,
from us.
how Africa used to be back in the days. Africa used to have a problem with the export, and when you had to, like Hawaii, for instance, Hawaii has a problem with exporting. When
Yeah.
stuff gets shipped in out of Hawaii alone, it has to go always somewhere else before it comes over to the states. It don't go just straight from the states to Hawaii. I've been hearing that, like
Yeah.
that's a big issue. You know what I'm saying? And then they had to pay that. They had to pay that tax on that.
Hmm.
So yet again, we're trying to ship. We need to be able to make goods equal. Yet again, make our dollar stronger. Because most of these people that we're terping, that got a little terps, even though we're terping people like that's wrong. If we're securing you, if we're doing business with you, and most of our stuff comes through weapons, but yet again, y'all want peace, but we're here to protect y'all. I mean, what's the balance of the military? You get the military for cheap just because you're a sovereign country, but we got your back. We said we got your back. It's documented. We got your back. I feel you, but yet again, you're able to get goods off, or China, another country, can go import export through your country to get your low tariff to ship their stuff to us to get. You see it's always the loopholes. And with China, China is just not in China. They in other countries. So therefore, some of their
Yeah.
businesses that they ship out get different hit ups. So instead of just
Well,
go ahead.
I'll say this. I feel like the way it was working was fine before because yeah, we had things like Europe would have tariffs on like American cars and stuff like that, but it's because the Europe is trying to support their own economy and they need to because America already has a monopoly when it comes to trade already as it is. America has already the GDP and everything to where it's more fair for a lot of these countries or like the European Union and stuff to tariff certain goods from us, you know. We were fine before, but there are trade wars like China where it was an actual trade war, you know.
Okay. I
Does,
mean,
does
yeah,
that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah, 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 yeah. I don't disagree. I just gotta ask y'all one quick question. Do y'all want to go longer, or y'all want to wrap this up?
We could keep on watching it.
I'm talking about the whole entire show.
Oh, got you.
It's on you.
Let's keep the
What you
party
want
going. Okay, let's keep the party going.
Formula which they use to determine the tariffs for each individual country. So let's start with China and see how this equation worked out for China. Okay, so I'm going to start with what was China's tariff rate before all this madness started. And to do that, I'm going to look at the Peterson Institute for International Economics. I'm also going to look at the International Trade Administration from the United States Department of Commerce, which Trump controls. And I'm going to look at the Office of the United
You agree these are all good resources to look at, right? These is all good, good standards, right? This is pretty good research, right? Or sorta, so far,
Sorta, kinda.
sorta. I almost said, I try to say, man, you know what? I messed up the whole joke. Anaconda? No, not anaconda. Wakanda. What was it? What was what?
Wakanda.
Okay, I messed it up. Y'all can just say I messed it up. That's okay. It's all right. I mess up a lot of jokes all the time. Dang, that was bad.
United States Trade Representative. Again, this is also an executive office under the control of the president. Now, all these sources claim that China's effective tariffs on all goods are an average of 20 to 23%. So I'll take 22% as the number. So the tariffs on U.S. goods are 22%, cut it in half. So the U.S. should impose an 11% tariff on Chinese goods because remember, President Trump said we're going to charge them half of the tariffs that they impose on us.
But we will charge them approximately half of what they are and have been charging us.
So now that's what the markets and everyone was expecting. Essentially, and across the board, you charge us, we charge you half of what you're charging us. But that's not what eventually happened. The markets were expecting between 11 and maybe 15% tariffs on Chinese goods. But when they saw Trump's 34% of tariffs on Chinese goods, it became confusing on what this number actually represented.
A comment from the White House on where this came from. The White House official telling reporters yesterday, quote, I want to emphasize here that these tariffs are customized to each country and the numbers have been calculated by the Council of Economic Advisors using very, very well-established methodologies from the international trade economic literature. We're sitting there on the desk last night. President Trump says we're charging people half of what they charge us. He puts up that now I'm going to say famous poster board, and I'm looking at those tariffs. I'm like, wait a second. I don't know the tariffs like an encyclopedia, but I'm pretty sure European tariffs are not 39%. I think I know that countries like Switzerland have like almost no tariffs, and Singapore. I think the European tariffs are like 4%. And like, where are these numbers coming from? I get offset and I start getting emails from the economists and the international trade experts I know. And they're like, what the heck are those numbers? And nobody really understood where those numbers came from.
So here is the chart that the president rolled out. And as you can see, it says on one side, the country, China. Then the next column, it says tariffs charged to the U.S., including currency manipulation and trade barriers. And then the next one is the USA discounted reciprocal tariffs. So we're going to charge you half of what you charge us. And China, it has 67%, and half of that is 34%. But the confusion was, how'd you get to this 67% number? Because that's not the number we expected. So here is how the Trump team came to that number. They published this formula from the Office of the United States Trade Representative. So let's break down this formula. First, you have imports from the United States. That's how much we send to them.